Hi, I'm Jesse Dannenbring. I'm the designer for Void Eclipse.
And I'm Riley Dannenbring. I'm the art director and illustrator for Void Eclipse. So what do you think inspired you to start this project, and how far back do you think sort of thinking about working on a sci-fi game like this goes?
Yeah, I think going way back when we were just growing up and playing video games together on the computer, we would watch sci-fi movies, and I think just being able to tell some of those stories ourselves is something I've always wanted to do. And sometimes we'd be playing games, and I'd be nerding out, looking at how the games were coming together, how the maps were designed, and you would, nudge me and be like, Jesse, just play, give me the controller.
Right. Yeah, that was definitely a point where we sort of decided that maybe we want to actually work on a project together, something on the side, and we started thinking what sort of sci-fi game would we want to create, what world would we want to create. We started doing some sketching and brainstorming together in some cafe shops, and I think once we got a little bit further in the concept and we started getting some sort of inspiring paintings out, we started to see the world start to come together, and I think that's what also sort of inspired you to end up leaving software to do this full time, right?
I was kind of inspired to think, he's doing it. He's doing something really interesting and different. Working with a composer who's off-site, it was really helpful for Riley and I to send him some of Riley's illustrations to really get him immersed in the idea of the game. And then he would send us little clips of the music he was working on. We would listen to that as Riley was creating new illustrations, as I was making new special effects. And that really helped kind of tie the team together. Just sharing some of the content as we created it, even if we weren't, working right next door to each other.
So I work as a concept artist full-time, and so on the side I also do illustration work occasionally. So I definitely helped out with the world building, figuring out the art direction. Also helped since I'd worked in production on some video games before. I knew sort of some of the tools you should use, and also I was able to give you some feedback for the game design, so the overall direction of the project. So I think the main purpose of the character skills and having that whole system was to really get the audience more invested in the characters, and since we had spent so much time developing each of these unique characters per different species, and we put a lot of time into the illustrations and little details in there, so we wanted to make sure that the player definitely had a reason to come back to their favorites and see them grow and expand in the gameplay. And also, as they revisit that screen and upgrade their characters, they see more and more detail that they might not have noticed before in the illustrations.
So for Void Eclipse, we knew that we wanted to have this tactical card battler on a grid that gives you a lot of really interesting tactical choices. But we also wanted to immerse people in this world in between the battles. So you're not just loading up a new level each time. You're really transitioning between each planet, between each star system. And we felt that, looking at the NASA photos of all these different planets when we were creating the textures, that the planets could really be their own character. And so we knew that having it be in 3D was really going to help keep people immersed in between the battles. We brought Void Eclipse to Kickstarter because we've kept Void Eclipse independent up until this point. We really have focused on having all these different unique characters that you're fully invested in, and part of that was having each one of them have 14 different skills, and each one of those skills, that's going to require icons, special effects, and overall development polish and play testing. So we really want to engage the Kickstarter community both in the play testing so that we can see how these characters are used by the community. They're probably going to come up with different ways to use them than we would even imagine. So there's a balance aspect to it. And then also just funding to help us finish the icons and special effects.
I worked as a concept artist. I still work as a concept artist. All right, let's start this over. That was a fucking disaster.